Jon Snow's fate was forever bound to the wall until it wasn't. What if he had forsaken his vows and joined his brother in the war for the North? Let's dive into this gripping alternate history. If this video reaches 1,500 likes, we'll create a part 2. The Great Hall of Riverrun buzzed with tense discussions as Northmen and Riverlords debated their next move. Robb Stark, though determined, felt the weight of command pressing down on him. He relied on his bannermen, yet he did not fully trust them. His mother, Lady Catelyn, and his uncle, the Blackfish, advised him, but even with their guidance, he often felt isolated. His thoughts were interrupted by his guard announcing an unexpected visitor. A stranger stood at the gates, asking for an audience with the king in the north. Curious and cautious, Robb hurried to meet the visitor. The moment he laid eyes on the man before him, his confusion turned to astonishment, and then joy. Though taller and more hardened, Robb immediately recognized his half-brother. "Jon!" Robb exclaimed. "By the old gods, it is you. I thought we might never meet again. What are you doing here? Did you leave the wall?" Jon's voice was firm. "I have." A pause hung between them before Robb asked, "Have you taken your vows, Jon?" "I have," Jon admitted. "But I could not stay away. Ned was my father too, and you are my brother. If you mean to go to war, I want to fight alongside you." Robb hesitated, his expression wavering as he considered Jon's words. Then, in a rare moment of defiance, he cast aside his doubt and embraced his brother. "To hell with your oath, Jon," Robb declared. "You came here now, and I need you. We'll figure out how to make this right. You'll find no executioner here. You're my blood. My court will welcome you." Before Jon could respond, a sharp voice cut through the air. "Robb, you cannot mean to take him in." Lady Catelyn Stark's gaze was cold and unwavering. "He's my brother, Mother," Robb countered. "My father's son. He has as much right to be here as any of us." But Catelyn was unmoved. "He is a deserter of the Night's Watch. The law is clear. All deserters must be executed, no matter their blood. Or have you forgotten the law your father upheld?" Jon's voice was steady. "I do not ask for immunity. Lady Stark is right. I left the wall to come here. If you see fit to carry out the sentence, I will not resist." Robb squared his shoulders. "I am not my father, and I am king in the north now." Catelyn's eyes narrowed. "And what will your lords say when they see you sheltering a deserter? You cannot hope to conceal the truth from them." Robb hesitated, then nodded. "I will not hide it, but I will make amends with the Night's Watch once I return." Catelyn sighed, her resistance softening. "I will not stop you, but know this, you are playing a dangerous game." Fortunately for Robb, the recent victory against the Lannisters had placed his men in high spirits. When the truth of Jon's presence was revealed, the lords accepted Robb's judgment. Some, like Great Jon Umber, even took it as a sign of good fortune, claiming the king in the North's influence had reached beyond the wall. However, Jon was not granted command. Instead, he remained at Robb's side as an advisor. Meanwhile, Robb sought alliances to solidify his hold, particularly with the Ironborn. He planned to send Theon Greyjoy back to his father as an envoy, a plan Catelyn strongly opposed. Jon agreed with her. "Theon has proved his loyalty, but we know nothing of Balon Greyjoy's true intentions. It would be wiser to keep Theon here until an alliance is secured and use him as leverage." Reluctantly, Robb heeded their advice and sent Lord Jason Mallister in Theon's place. Meanwhile, he and Jon turned their attention westward, preparing to strike at the heart of the Westerlands to draw Tywin Lannister into battle. Their campaign was a resounding success. They raided villages, seized castles, and struck fear into Tywin's vassals. Their efforts culminated in the Battle of Oxcross, where Robb ambushed and decimated Sir Stafford Lannister's forces. But while they waged war in the south, trouble brewed in the north. The Ironborn launched their invasion, though without Theon's guidance, their efforts floundered. They managed only minor victories, except at Moat Cailin, a critical stronghold that they captured. Theon, still with Robb, faced an uncertain fate. Honor dictated he should be executed, but Robb hesitated. At Jon's urging, Robb offered Theon a choice: renounce his family and their actions or face justice. Theon, recognizing his place, swore loyalty to the Starks. Meanwhile, the Ironborn set their sights on Seaguard, striking while its lord was absent. Jon Snow led the defense. He arrived just as the Ironborn launched their assault, rallying a hastily assembled force. Under cover of night, Jon orchestrated a surprise attack, setting the enemy's ships ablaze and routing their forces. The victory earned Jon newfound respect among the northern lords. Returning to River Run, Jon found himself avoiding Lady Catelyn, but he could not ignore her conversation with Sir Cleos Frey, who had returned with so-called peace terms from the Lannisters. Jon listened carefully. The terms came from Tyrion Lannister, and Jon recalled their time together on the journey to the Wall. "My lady," Jon interjected. Catelyn's gaze hardened. "If you've come to discuss Cleos's terms, save your breath. We will not answer insults." Jon nodded. "I agree. These are no true offers of peace, no more than ours." Catelyn narrowed her eyes. "Speak plainly, Jon." Jon hesitated. "Why do we continue this charade, exchanging terms neither side expects to accept?" "It is a matter of diplomacy," Catelyn replied. "We must keep face." Jon nodded. "Perhaps. But I know Tyrion Lannister. I traveled with him. I know you distrust him, but perhaps if I wrote to him?" Catelyn exhaled. "Very well, write to him. Let us see if the imp has risen above his house's cruelty. But Robb will see every word you write." Thus began an unexpected exchange of letters between Jon Snow and Tyrion Lannister. What started as pleasantries soon turned to negotiations, discussing hostages, territorial claims, and the North's future. An agreement was eventually reached. Robb would lay down his arms and acknowledge Joffrey as king, though he would be permitted to retain the title king in the North in exchange for a tribute disguised as tariffs. The final sticking point was Jaime Lannister. Tyrion demanded his return immediately, but Jon insisted they would hand him over only after peace was officially signed. Before this could be settled, the Battle of the Blackwater reshaped the war. Stannis Baratheon was defeated, and the Lannisters, now allied with the Tyrells, emerged stronger than ever. With their power secured, Robb's only bargaining chip was Jaime. Meanwhile, troubling news arrived from the Wall. A wildling army was marching south. The lords debated their response, torn between fighting the Lannisters and defending the North. Jon stood before them. "If we abandon the Wall now, the North will burn, our people will suffer, and it will be on us." But lame Lothar Frey stepped forward. "Noble words from a deserter. Why should we heed the counsel of a man who couldn't keep his vows?" Accusations flew and whispers of treason spread. The tide turned against Jon Snow. And in the shadows, House Frey plotted a betrayal that would shake the North to its core. Robb narrowed his gaze. "Very well. These people can't roam unchecked. You'll stay south of the Wall to be their guide. Harm no one. Take no more than you need, and my men won't harm you." Mance gave a curt nod. "Fair enough. We want to live, Stark, but we kneel to no one." Jon stepped forward, his voice steady. "I am no lord, just a bastard of Winterfell. I expect no fealty and demand no service beyond you giving up raiding." Mance considered this for a moment before responding. "Very well, those terms are acceptable." The lords murmured among themselves as the wildlings were released under Jon's supervision. Though many remained uneasy, the battle was won, and now it was time to resettle them. This left only the Ironborn, but compared to the other threats, they were hardly an afterthought. Robb did not even take the field himself. Instead, he simply dispatched his lords to retake their respective castles. Part of him wanted to order new levies to be raised, but he also considered the offer Jon Snow had given him. With how turbulent things had been, he began wondering whether he should accept it. As Robb sat in Winterfell, surrounded by his brothers and sister, he realized this was what his father had fought so hard to preserve. It wasn't about dreams of glory or the thrill of battle, but these thoughts were interrupted by a visitor. One from the Vale. As the guards let him in, Robb and Catelyn were both surprised to see Littlefinger appear, clasping his hands together and smiling. "Ah, the young king in the North," Littlefinger mused. "We meet at last. Allow me to offer my congratulations on your recent victories." Catelyn's expression darkened. "Peter, what are you doing here? The Vale has declared neutrality in this war." Littlefinger's smirk deepened. "The Vale may have, my dear Catelyn, but times change. As it happens, I've been named Lord Paramount of the Riverlands and Region of the Vale after Lady Lysa's tragic passing." Robb's eyes hardened. "All given to you by the Lannisters. Why should I trust a word you say?" "The Lannisters and I—" Littlefinger paused, his fingers steepled. "Let's say we've reached the limit of our mutual benefit. Now, this leaves me free to serve whomever I see fit." Catelyn's voice was wary. "And what is it you want, Peter?" Littlefinger sighed dramatically. Ah, Catelyn, you know me too well. My claim to the Riverlands and the Vale is tenuous at best. The Knights of the Vale respect only force, and my position over the Riverlands is not yet secure. I need your strength, your grace, and your support. In return, I offer mine. Robb's jaw tightened. And you expect me to just swallow this? Littlefinger chuckled. A fair question. You're already smarter than your father. Allow me to offer a token of good faith. I've heard how you found your youngest girl. Please, allow me to make your family whole again. Sansa Stark is safe under my protection. I helped her escape the Lannisters and brought her to the Vale. With your consent, I'll return her to your family immediately. Robb's breath caught, and beside him, Catelyn's hand flew to her chest. Sansa, she whispered. Littlefinger nodded. Yes, Catelyn, she's alive and well. You have my word. Robb's voice was sharp. And why would you do this? Why betray the Lannisters now? Littlefinger's smirk never wavered. Because there is a great opportunity for you. This war had 5 kings, yet now only one remains. Stannis, Renly, Balon, Joffrey, and even Tywin are all gone. Robb stiffened. Tywin is dead? Murdered by Tyrion Lannister himself, Littlefinger confirmed. Now, with the Vale, nothing stands between you and victory. Catelyn's suspicion lingered. And what is the cost of this alliance, Peter? Littlefinger spread his hands. A small price. As I mentioned, I need to secure my grip over the Vale to provide its knights. Our houses have old ties. Perhaps making them official shall help. Robb's voice was ice. My mother is not yours to bargain for. Littlefinger laughed softly. It's not an insult, Your Grace, but a proposal born of necessity. Consider the strength such a union would bring. The Riverlands united under me, the Vale behind your banners, 3 of the great houses by your side, and the 7 kingdoms ripe for the plucking. What better way to secure the North? That's our theory. Remember, if you enjoyed this story and want to see it continued, like the video. If it reaches 1,500 likes, part 2 will be made. Westeros is a land filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey across the 7 kingdoms and beyond, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.